So if you're like me and you're a Warmachine player with a 3D printer, this has been a really exciting week because Steamforged Games have announced they're partnering with MyMinifactory to have a new subscription service for 3D printable models. But a lot of my friends without printers have been asking me about what it's like to get set up and want to know if this is a thing they want to start getting to or not. So I thought I'd do a quick video that explains everything you'll need to know to make that choice. So firstly, I'm going to be talking about resin printers. There's broadly two types, resin or SLA printers and filament or FDM printers. And the FDM printers they work by melting a plastic filament. They're great for making terrain, but they're not so good for making miniatures. A resin printer is like, if you bought any Mark IV models, that's what they're made with. And they're great because you can have really high quality prints and it's very cheap as well. Like a 28mm model will cost you about 20 pence to print. It's very affordable. So the first thing people always ask is this plug and play? Can I buy this and kind of get it going out of the box? And the answer broadly is yeah, it's actually really simple. There's always going to be some teething issues, and then it's a machine, so you have to maintain it, and you'll always get failed prints, you have to clean it, that sort of thing. But broadly, it's pretty easy to get started. You don't need any advanced skills or knowledge, and there's loads of resources out there as well now, so it's never been an easier time to actually get this up and running. What I did want to talk about is how a printer actually works. Like, how does this magic box turn liquid resin into solid miniatures that you can play with and paint? And so this basically is what a 3D printer is. This bottom bit is an LED screen. The top bit is a metal build plate, which is what the resin miniatures will stick to. And the stick at the back is threaded like a screw, so that raises and lowers the build plate. So when you get your STL file, which is the miniature file, you'll put it into a program called a slicer. And that will convert it into thousands of images, which will be built one on top of the other to turn it into a miniature. And this screen will shine those images through sequentially. On top of that sits this vat, which is where your resin will go, and you'll see there's a clear kind of acetate screen at the bottom. That allows the light to shine through, which will then cure the resin. So then the tank is filled with resin, the build plate will drop into the resin, and the screen will cure the resin between the acetate and the build plate, and the build plate will gradually remove itself and drop back down again to keep doing this. So when it cures, if you imagine this is your LED screen and this is the build plate, the resin will cure to both of them. Then the build plate will rise, and that means the resin will no longer be stuck to the acetate, it'll just be stuck to the metal plate, and then it will descend again, just like one piece of paper's width higher than it was before, and do that again and repeat the process thousands of times. So if you were to remove the build plate at this stage, you'll see this is the image that we had, and it's now cured onto the plate. But the idea is that you will instead do this thousands of times, and then your miniature will be stuck to the plate. So of course, when the miniature comes out, it's going to be literally dripping in liquid resin. So before it's ready to be used, you're going to have to put it into a wash station to wash all the excess resin off. And then the outside of the model will still be soft to the touch, it won't be fully cured. So you'll have to put it in a cure station, which will shine a UV light on it like a sunbed, and that will do the final bit of curing. So the next thing people ask is, what will actually need to get started? And of course, the first thing is a printer. There's two main brands, which are Elegoo and Anycubic, and either of their entry-level models are absolutely fantastic for making miniatures. So I have an Anycubic Mono 4, and it's been absolutely fantastic. The Elegoo equivalent is basically the same machine, so it's just a matter of whichever appeals to you more, I guess. You can go with the fancier ones, which have features like being Wi-Fi enabled or having sensors for failed prints, but I'm really not bothered. I'd rather just keep it cheap and simple. But then, we'll just pick whichever is best for you. So the next thing you'll need is the wash and cure stations. Some companies have these as two separate things. Some have them as one that works as both. And that's going to wash off the excess resin and cure the soft surface. And you'll quite often get these in like a bundle with the printer as well. So always look out for deals there. And then of course you'll need some 99.9% isopropyl alcohol to put in the wash and cure station. The next thing you'll need, of course, is some resin. I always use Anycubic, their basic entry-level resins. I've been recommended Soraya Tech resins. They're apparently a bit better and a little bit cheaper, so that's going to be what I'm going to buy next time. But when you're looking through any of these that have a picture of a model next to the resin, that's going to be suitable resin to print miniatures with. One thing I would suggest is that there's two types of resins, basically, ones that wash in isopropyl alcohol and ones that wash in water. I would absolutely steer clear of the water wash resins. It's not worth whatever extra bit of efficiency you think you'll get for washing in water. Just stay clear of them. I'll explain exactly why later. Then the last thing you're going to need is some safety equipment. So you're going to need some disposable gloves, a mask, and some goggles. The other thing that's really important with these is safety. So the resin itself is very irritating to touch, and when it's printing, it releases carcinogenic fumes. I'm not a doctor. I'm going to kind of give you the best information that I have, but always follow medical advice and always follow what the package says. What's important, you're going to need to put your printer in an enclosure. So whether that's a purpose-built one, a homemade one, or a grow tent, which is usually used for growing plants in, that's always good. And what they'll do, they'll allow you to suck all of the air out of them and pump it ideally outside, but if not, it can go through a carbon HEPA filter. Your best bet is if you have access to an outbuilding or something, that's absolutely ideal. You can just pump the air straight out and then all the harmful air is gone. Otherwise, if you are going to print inside your house, set up your printer in a room that's not your bedroom or where you're working or anything like that, somewhere that you're not really going a whole lot. And then ideally, again, set it up so the fan will suck all the air and just pump it straight outside. But if not, you can do it through a filter. But I just don't like that quite as much because I feel like there's always going to be some residual fumes in the room. And of course, always wear a mask when you're in that room. Probably the most important thing in this video is, if you don't think you can print in a way that's safe for you and your household, you should not buy a 3D printer. The last question people have been asking me is MyMinifactory. How does that work? Do I only get access to the models for a month? Do I have to print them that month, or do I have to save everything I own on a hard drive? And the answer is no. You have a library on MyMinifactory and everything you've ever bought just sits in there, so you can download it when you're ready to use it. Subscription model they're doing, I think it's $10 a month, which is a very good price. I think if you want to, the models will be available after that month, but I think they're going to cost about $100 a pack, or there's probably a discount if you're subscribing as well. But basically, you can turn your subscription on and off, so subscribe when it's something you want, or what I'm going to do is just leave mine running all the time because you never know which ones you're going to want to go back and buy later, so I'm just going to kind of collect all of them. I hope this video has been helpful. One quick cheeky plug, I make some printable files for terrain, which is ideal for Warmachine, called Bulldozer Terrain. If you want to take a look at my store, it's on bulldozerterrain.com. It's ideal for printing on FDM printers. You can print the smaller pieces on resin, but it's designed really for FDM. Feel free to leave comments below if you have any further questions, or tag me on any kind of social media. My name is Tom Wiggins, and I'll try my best to help.